I have about 45 minutes of quiet time, and I'm so glad that you're a part of that. I love it. Welcome, everybody. It has been a minute since I've been on these calls, and I don't know if you're new or old, but I have missed seeing you guys. I can't even begin to tell you how much I love these uplifting calls that inspire us in so many different areas of life. You know, I believe so strongly, as I know so many of you do, that when you do good, you get good. And when you add more and more light to your life, more and more floods in. It's like you open a gateway to just positivity and inspiration. And you know, we're talking about health tonight, and I'm so excited for those that have joined us to share their stories. But I promise you, if you're just looking for more positivity and light and inspiration, you know, start with your health and watch as it bleeds into every other area of your life. All right, whether that's emotional or financial success or whatever else. We take care of these beautiful bodies and miracles happen. So welcome. I know, Stephanie, you're going to throw that screen up. Yeah, there we go. All right. And I want to go through this pretty quickly, guys, because we have 3 incredible men that have joined us tonight, and we don't get many calls like this. Or we have our guys on. They're a little bit more shy, or they're busy. I don't know what's going on, but we have 3 great men on. So let's just get to this opening and introduction so that we can hear their stories. I know you guys showed up for them. You know, it starts with vision. I don't know why you guys joined us tonight, but I'd like to ask, you know, why are you here tonight? Did somebody drag you? Is this your, you know, first encounter with Isogenics or our community? Why did you show up tonight? With everything going on in the world, why are you here tonight? What's so important? What do you want to get out of it? Our vision was to help people around the world, one family at a time, to create better lives. Sorry for the background noise. There we go. Okay, so going back to what I was saying, sorry, I had to dismiss one more small person. It's about eating better, feeling better, looking better, moving better, doing better. If you want any of those things, please let us know in the chat if you want to accomplish any of those, because we're here, you know, trying to do all of it, right? And I believe we can. So before we really jump in, it's very important that we always start with this slide. This is our disclaimer, but it's simply to let you know everything in life, you know, requires work. Anything good that you want to achieve, any success that you want to have in life, it requires work, right? It requires first a decision to get started, and 2, a commitment to follow it and to trust the process, to have a little bit of faith in the process, right? And so you guys have already decided that first part. I mean, you're here tonight, which means that you want it, right? So it's about work, it's about commitment, it's about trusting the plan. All right, there's no promises or guarantees. We all know that with nothing in life. All right, but the stories you're going to hear tonight are all possible because these men made a decision, they trusted the process, and they committed to it. And next week, we have these incredible individuals joining us. So please know that this is happening every Thursday night, guys. This has been going on since, I don't even know, Stephanie, beginning of this year. And it's been happening every single week. So invite your friends and family to next week's call. It's going to be amazing. And with that being said, I don't want to take up much time tonight in between these incredible visitors and guests. So please I'm going to allow them to share their stories and to share more about themselves. But we're going to be starting out with Erik. All of these men are great athletes, great individuals, inspiring stories, and they have transformed more than just their waistlines, or you know, they've done more than just perform better in the gym or, you know, reach their health goals. And I'm just so excited to start out here with Erik as he shares his story.
Hey, gang. I really want to start out and say, hi, my name's Erik, and I'm an alcoholic. Because I actually am an alcoholic, right? And I'm a member of AA, and I'm so accustomed to saying that, you know, it just feels right to say that at this point in time. You guys saw a little bit about the bio. I'm really blessed to be here. And Wow, that's really scary. I have to tell you guys, it takes a lot for me to look at the belly on that guy. You know, my story early on, I was a sports fanatic. I mean, I have been my whole life, right? And I was never a big bulky guy. I was never a power guy. In fact, I was typically the smallest guy in my grade. It took a long time. I was kind of a late physical bloomer. And the one thing I was a greyhound. I was lean, I was small, and I was incredibly fast, right? I'm old, guys. I'm 55 years old, right? So when you're my age, if you were an athlete, either you were an athlete or you weren't. And if you were an athlete, it means you did everything. You played everything, right? So I did. Football, basketball, baseball. I grew up as a tennis player. It helped me get a scholarship to a private prep school. I was a swimmer. If y'all didn't notice, I'm black. It's rare for black people to be competitive swimmers, right? But did that. I learned to scuba dive as a kid because I mostly grew up in the Bahamas, right? So super athletic. But I lacked a healthy direction in my life. I didn't have that in my home, frankly, right? And so all of that kind of got derailed starting in high school, as I started as I developed a drinking problem, right? I started smoking and drinking and kind of tore my young life up with drugs and with addiction. And by the age of 22, I got sober and I started putting my life back together. And by then I'd grown into what I consider my man body, right? Which was all of about 5'10", and probably about 155 pounds, right? And found out that I'd added a little power to my frame and that I was, all of a sudden a hell of a ball player, right? I was no longer a slap hitter. I was all of a sudden a guy who could pound the ball over the fence. So I started playing competitive softball nationally, traveling to tournaments. I played locally and nationally, and did that for a lot of years, right? But I went through some ups and downs in my life. I coached basketball. My oldest coached my oldest well enough to help her get to be a Division I college basketball player. So that was pretty cool. But eventually over time, I started picking up weight, right? Because one thing I continue to do is smoke cigarettes, right? And so I can't do anything that's endurance. I'm a sprinter, right? Eventually I started to drink again. And I went through a real serious physical deterioration. So I gained weight, continued to smoke, stopped playing sports, and there's a lot of self-hatred that goes with what was going on with me and the weight gain and the not being able to be that competitive person, to not be good at stuff that I've been good at my whole life, just helped eat away at my soul, right? And 5 years ago, I got sober again, which was awesome, right? And it started this transformation for me because obviously when you're not pouring alcohol and other things into your body, that kind of helps a little bit, right? But there's an amazing thing that happens in AA when you get sober. And that is that our favorite thing to do when we stop drinking is to start eating, right? Like everything is like, let's go out and eat, right? And I love food. I love anything that I think is going to change the way that I feel. And good food does that. Rich food does that. And so I continued to gain weight. And even though I was sober, my life was getting better. But part of AA is getting in touch with that power, right? Some kind of power that's bigger than you are, right? And it also gives us a mission to help other people. And so what happened for me is that I started helping other people, and that was good. And I started having some faith, and it's amazing now to see how it all comes together. So what happens is a year ago, my lovely, crazy wife comes home, right? And she goes, "Hey, we're doing this thing," right? And I go, "Okay, you're doing a thing. That's nice." She's like, "We're going to lose weight. We're going to get in shape. We're going to get healthy. We're going to eat healthy." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." Right. And she's like, and I'm going to make this my business. And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm a cynic. I'm originally from Detroit. I don't believe crap unless I see it. So, all right, fine, I'll try it." And the transformation started, the health transformation started, right? And I was cynical, and almost immediately, within a couple of days, I already started to shed some weight, and that was cool, right? That was wonderful. But what I didn't anticipate was that I literally started to feel better. I started to have more energy, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, what's that all about, right? And I think in the first 30 days, everybody doesn't do this, but I think I lost about 16 pounds. I told you I used to be 155. I was at 205 when we started this process, right? So, and it all sits, as you saw in the picture, right in the middle of my gut, right? I'm a stick figure with a pot belly. So the deal is that as the weight's peeling off, all of a sudden I get the sleep spray, right? She gets me the sleep spray. I'm a notorious insomniac, right? And I won't take anything because I can't get up in the morning. But the sleep spray somehow works. And all of a sudden I've got energy. I'm sleeping better. I'm losing weight. I'm feeling better. And the next thing you know, I'm like, maybe I'll go to the gym. So I start going to the gym. I hate the gym. I hate the gym. Gyms stink. They're the big muscly guys that make fun of little guys like me. I hate the gym, but I go, right? And I start getting it together. And I'm like, hey, this is incredible, right? And so now I'm willing to share this with people because my mission as part of AA is to help people. And I see how this can help people, right? If I'm feeling better, I can help other people feel better. And then the pandemic hits. No gym, shut it all down. But somehow the transformation that started with this, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it. Isagenix gave me, and these products gave me the idea that I really could change some things that I never thought would change, like my relationship with food, right? And so what happened was the pandemic hit and I said, I'm going to get something positive out of this. So I'm going to quit smoking. And I have. I just celebrated 6 months, nicotine-free, no smoking, no vaping. I'm not cheating, none of that, right? And you know what happened then? My knees have been shot for years from playing ball. And so that was part of my struggle. But my wife, my lovely wife, she rides a bike every day and she would come in and talk about how awesome it was. And so I had FOMO, right? So for those of you who don't know, that's fear of missing out, right? So I got on a bike. So that started our transformation in us riding together. So, we go on 20-mile bike rides through the trails, through the woods, in the hills. And all of a sudden I feel utterly amazing, right? I'm 55 years old, guys. No black, don't crack. But here's the thing. These products, and I'm going to say this and kind of wrap this up really quick. These products have changed so much about me physically, with the weight loss, mentally, emotionally, and each of them works together with the others for me, right? So at the end of this now, we're at a place where not only has it changed us and helped us that way, but I have to say that the wealth creation piece has helped my family through this pandemic, right? It's allowed my wife to stay home and help the kids with their distance learning, right? While still generating income into the household. And along the way, we're helping other people have results and it's helping me continue the mission. So I think I'm supposed to talk for a couple seconds about my favorite products. Is that right, Stephanie? Do I have that right, Trisha? All right, so let's talk about this. First thing is the shakes. I got to tell you guys this on the weight loss thing. I'm not a calorie counter. I never will be. I need simple, right? I need easy. And it's simple and it's easy and I need it to taste good. And it's amazing. The flavors are amazing, right? And it's fast, right? I can hit a shake. I used to have my little blender in the office for lunch. So the shakes are incredible. The sleep spray, I love that it's multiple sprays. You can kind of dose yourself. So as opposed to taking something else, it helped me figure out, hey, this is the right amount for me to be able to go to sleep and still wake up refreshed, not feel heavy. The cleanse, honestly, is what changed my relationship with food. The idea of being able to go extended periods of time without eating solid foods was inconceivable to me, right? And the process of doing the cleanses has taught me and has changed my idea about what I need in terms of food. So that has been utterly fantastic. The products around working out, the hydrate, the nitro, the pre-workout so I can get going. And because I'm achy, I have knee problems and I am a little older, the repair, Jackie brings me the repair. Here you go. Right. And I'm like, yes. And everything tastes good. Everything tastes amazing. The last thing I'm going to say is this. The secret weapon is the isogenesis. And I didn't mention it earlier, but because you see, black don't crack, and we all know that, right? But it's great to have that secret weapon behind the scenes with the isogenesis, right? Because I'm a little vain, and my wife's a little younger than I am, right? So I got to stay on top of my game. I love you guys. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share a bit of the story. And I'll turn it back over to the gang.
Erik, you're amazing. I love it, love it, love it. And when we look at the screen right here, like you were talking about so many of these things, even though you didn't necessarily mention all of them. Oh, hold on 1 second. Hey, this to Hiram. So, 1 second. So, you were talking about just your journey, and it made me think about all the different solutions we have. And New Year's is coming up, and I know that a lot of people are thinking about these things right now, especially with stress. Everybody's dealing with a few extra pounds this year just due to stress. And with Isogenics, one of the things that so many of us have been grateful for, and I'm multitasking right now, guys, but we're good at that, is the fact that it's a journey. It's a journey. You can wake up these old athletes and you can give them a better life than they ever have. But also you can take someone who's never done the things that you've done, and they get started with their nutrition, they lose some weight, they feel better, they start sleeping better, their cortisol levels lower, said that 5 times fast, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, maybe I could go on a walk, oh, maybe I could go to the gym. And it just happens, guys, step by step by step. And that's one of the things that our next guest is going to be talking about, right? Just this journey, this evolution of health and lifestyle. All right, so welcome my friend Wallace. Like I said earlier, he is single. He won't mention that. But, let me know if you want his number. All right, Wally, I know you're there. Literally on the tarmac, probably ready to fly right after this call.
I wish. It's getting dark, and there we go. There's my baby right there, the one that's camouflaged, the brown one. Kind of sneaking around. Oh, wow, where'd you get all these pictures? Okay, so am I supposed to talk now?
Yes, you are.
Okay, all right. So 2014, I had just, sorry about that. I had just started, I've been doing triathlons for about 8 months to 10 months or so. And a good friend of mine called me up one day. I was living in St. George. You can tell that's St. George in the background there. I was living in St. George, Utah, and she lives down there in Arizona with you guys. And she gave me a call and said, hey, Wally. I said, how you doing? Good. So you're doing triathlons, right? And I said, yeah. And she says, I got something that's going to help you be much better at triathlons. And you athletes know that we athletes think we know everything. And I'm like, yeah, right. Okay, I'm doing fine. I got my blend tech. I'm blending. I'm doing fine. So yeah, whatever. So about 3 weeks to a month later, she calls me back, says, hey, Wally, you really need to try this stuff. It's called Isogenics. And I said, what's Isogenics? And she caught me right at a good time, because I was trying to lean down. I started at 194, and an athletic 194, but I had this layer that I wanted to get off. And, with doing anything endurance sports, every pound you're carrying around, it's not good. You know, you want to get rid of that. You want to lean down and carry as less weight as possible. And so I have been working on, I got down from 194 to about 182, 183. And I hit a wall, and I could not get the rest of that layer off of me that I wanted to get off. And so she caught me at the right time, and I was like, okay, so you're telling me that this is going to help me lean down? Yes. What else is it going to help me with? Well, you're going to feel better. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have more lean muscle mass. You're going to, in every way, your skin's going to be better. Your joints are going to feel better. And I'm like, well, heck, you know, all this is just stuff I need to have in my life. So I said, okay, so what if it doesn't happen? She goes, oh, you get, you know, it will. I'm not worried about it. It will. I said, okay, all right, I'll trust you. So I ordered, and immediately, okay, I had a half Ironman 2 weeks after I got my first package of food, Isogenics. And so, sorry, you guys, got my little kitty cat jumping in there. I had 2 weeks before that, and I immediately jumped on this. It was 70.3 St. George. And I went from 183 to right at 177, 178 in 2 weeks. And I felt so good. And my body, I mean, it was like a miracle. I mean, I felt different. I performed different. I looked different just in 2 weeks, doing the same thing I've always been doing, but eating Isogenics. And I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. And I kept going. And I leaned down to, I did my body fat stuff, and I leaned down to 8% body fat and 172. And that was almost too much for me. And so I kind of kept it between 173 and 174-ish the whole time I was doing triathlons, and I haven't done any in a while. But I was amazed, and my lean muscle mass, it was this bio, and I can't even remember what they called it whenever I was getting these tests done, but my lean muscle mass was pretty lean. And I tell you, it was between ages 47 that I was doing triathlons, 47, I'm 53 now, 47 to 50. And I felt like I was in my 20s. My joints felt good. My shoulders felt good. I mean, I'd had bad shoulders because I had 2 shoulder separations in my life. I just abused my body because of work and what I do for a living. And it just blew my mind how good I felt. My knees, you know, I had knees of a 30-year-old, you know. It's pretty awesome. I stopped doing triathlons. I got kind of burnt out mentally. So it wasn't anything Isogenics. It was mental. And I stopped doing triathlons, and I'm probably going to go back to it once I feel like I want to. But, you know, I've been now really getting into scuba diving and going all over the world scuba diving. And I tell you, people talk about, I think it's Isogenics and being hydrated all the time, because when you eat Isogenics, you're always taking water. You're always taking water in with everything. Yeah. There's Jenny Springs down in Florida. Yeah. So I don't know where you got these pictures. Somebody's good. Anyway, you work for the CIA, don't you? So anyway, you know, I tell people, you know, I've been down to 190 feet and everything in between, and I'm going through some tech training right now. to do some cave diving and go deeper. And I've never been what you call narked. And those of you that scuba dive know what that is. It's a feeling of you're getting too much nitrogen in your blood, and you feel like you're drunk and you don't think really well. And and people can get narked at any depth. And they said, well, they go, no, it's your biology. I said, no, it's isogenics. And they said, what's isogenics? I said, let me tell you what isogenics is. That's why I'm not getting narked. It's the magic sauce for that. Anyways, I that's what I say to them, just kidding. And to get them interested, and I might have a couple more people sign up here pretty soon. But I have never stopped taking it, even though I'm not doing endurance right now, because I just want to be healthy. And man, I could get out there and I could run, even though I haven't been training like I normally do, just because I'm healthy, just because I'm not putting in the time that I used to put in, like 15 hours a week of training. But I'm still healthy. I can get out there and run 2 miles, like off the couch, and at 53, like no big deal, because my body is so healthy. And it's been awesome. And that's been since 2014, and I'm never going to stop taking it. I actually was doing security work down after the hurricane in Puerto Rico, when they had that a couple years ago, and I had to go. I brought some with me, and I had to go a month without isogenics because I ran out, and it was the worst I've ever felt in my life. I was like, I'm addicted to feeling good. I don't know what feeling not good is, because people not feeling good is their normal. My good is a higher level than most people, and you guys know what that is. We all know that. So anyway, I said, I'm never going to do that again. That was terrible. That was a terrible part of my physical and mental well-being. It's just going a month without having my drug, isogenics. Now, I guess I'm supposed to tell you what my favorite products are. And bam, here it comes. Okay, so I'll tell you a story real quick about Isoline Pro. There was a girl on the Tri Club, and we were doing a run together, and she bonked. And if you guys don't know what bonking is, it means your body just quits. And it was hot, and she's not the greatest runner, but she's a kick butt swimmer. But she bonked. She couldn't hardly walk another step. And there you go, Trish. Yep, you girls are awesome swimmers. And so I had to help her for the last half mile to get back to my house to get her recovered. So I gave her a Isoline Pro, and it was not 20 minutes later, she was back to life. I was like, and she joined. She actually joined because of that. I said, this will get you back. This will make you recover. She drank that, and she was like, holy crap. 15, 20 minutes later, she felt normal again. So anyway, just I throw out a shout out for that. My staples, of course, everybody's, but man, I tell you what, the greens, the Isoline, and the ionics. In case you guys don't do it, I think mixing greens and ionics together is awesome. You can throw the fruit in there too. Totally awesome. Makes it all taste good, and you're getting all that nutrition all at once. And I like separating things just for the flavor of it, because the flavors are amazing. I don't mix a lot of stuff, but I do mix those because it makes it more fruity. And the Isa Delights. And whenever I say I have a guilty pleasure, it's that milk chocolate and sea salt. That's my guilty pleasure right there. Those things are the best. I can eat 5 or 6 of them in a row, and wish I had some more. But and of course, Let me tell you something real quick about the cleanse. Whenever I was doing triathlons, I would just do light workouts when I'd do a 2-day cleanse. And I'd always do a 2-day because I like cleaning myself out as much as, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it completely. So the cleanse on the second day, I just got in the pool and was stretching out, doing a little bit of a stretch swim, and you know, just get the joints and the muscles warm. And so I said, you know, I'm going to time myself in the 100 meters. And I tell you, something about the cleanse gives you so much energy, gives me so much energy, that it just blows my mind. I beat my PR, my personal record, whenever I was in my second day of cleanse by 5 seconds. That's huge. That's huge in swimming. I just like did it. I said, time me. Boom, boom, boom. I did 100 meters, beat it by 5 seconds. That, and 100 meters, I mean, that's that 5 second, Trish, you can tell them 5 seconds is a lot. And I've also been out running on my second day of cleanse, and I felt like I could go forever. And so, yeah, that cleanse is amazing. It cleans you out. Everything, gets all the toxins out, and it just gives your body so much energy. So anyway, those are my favorite products. There's a lot that I haven't tried that are probably my favorite, and I don't even know it. But that's kind of my story. I'm sorry if I took too long, but you know, it has to happen. This, in order to tell the story, I just had to take this time to tell it. So anyway, that's it.
I love it. Listen, this is the problem that everybody in Isogenics has. Is you can't ask an ISA customer what's their favorite product, because they're going to go on for 20 minutes about literally the whole system. Like, you can't leave anything out, like, right? I'm going to have an empty canister of everything in my, you know, in my grave when I pass away. I need everything with me.
Right.
I love it. Yeah. Just in case. I just want to make sure I have that on the other side. Listen, guys, what's so cool with these stories, and Carl's coming up, is these guys are voluntarily here to just share their stories, and it's volunteer. Why? Because they love it. Like, you can't force somebody to fake this kind of enthusiasm around nutrition, right? Especially with these guys. I mean, you hear it all the time, right? Especially with the athletes. You know, Wally kind of talked about it, is that bro science, right? Of athletes know everything, and there's a lot of bro science that happens in the gym, which means there's no proof. They just do whatever their friends are doing, right? And then you kind of get stuck in that rut of doing whatever you're doing. And we're changing things. Like, we're teaching athletes that you can actually have it all. You can look great, but also like not die doing it. And you can be a stage competitor and not die doing it. Like, you can actually feel your very, very best while performing at your very, very best. Right? So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing, Wally. I absolutely love it. And you know, it's also really cool. I'll just plug in, you know, Wallace has been a huge enroller on our team. He consistently enrolls people into Isogenics, and it's simply because he loves it. And it happens naturally. He doesn't have to force anything. All of his buddies keep enrolling. Why? Because he looks great. He feels great. He walks the walk. He walks the talk, right? As they say. And that's a blessing in Isogenics, because then you don't have to pay for your products. You get to join that Eat for Free club, or even, you know, maybe make some extra money that pays for your plane's fuel. I don't know. But you guys are awesome. Yes. So Carl, if you can join us.
Hey everybody, it's
Hey.
so great to be with you. Sorry, Trish, I'll let you keep going. Oh, I'm good. Okay. Thanks for having me on, guys. You know, I absolutely love the energy in this group, and I absolutely love everything about North America. And I spent a bit of time there and caught up with Trisha, and we have a great friendship. So it's amazing to have a community that spans, you know, across seas. And so a very good morning to you from Australia, Queensland on the Gold Coast, and a warm good evening, Thursday evening to you guys there in the US. Look, there's so many similarities that I could share with you with Wally and Erik, and you know, it's almost like their story is my story, and it's the story of many of us. So you know, it's starting off. You know, I started back in 2013. You know, life before I started using Isagenix products was, I guess, very similar. You know, as the boys, I played rugby and basketball and athletics all through high school and my early adulthood, and love working out, love training, love competing. And then, you know, as life continues to evolve, we get married, we have children, and we start careers, and then, you know, those things start to go slip away a little bit, and you know, we start to focus on other areas of our life. And so, but for me, you know, life prior to me using Isagenix was great. You know, I had a great life. You know, I'm married with 3 teenage children right now. You know, they were younger kids when I started using Isagenix, and you know, we were your typical family. You know, we had a mortgage. You know, I was a single income family, so my wife Sam was a stay-home mum. That was always our goal: raise our children, and you know, and have a great life. But you know, part of that was, as you get older, we you know, neglect health a little bit. And I always try to work out. I always worked out. I used the bro science like Wally. You know, it was. I try to do whatever I could, figure out things just online, and come up with my own antidotes for being healthy. The goal was always, you know, for us guys. You know, Erik, I'm a little bit vain too, Erik. You know, like I want to look good. You know, I'm 44 now, so you know, I'm always trying to find a way. I think for men particularly, it's about building, you know, lean muscle mass, but also and reducing body fat. You know, and that's like that's the holy grail for us guys, you know. And as we get older, that just gets a little bit harder to do. And you know, and there's always that little extra layer around the midsection, which was always the tough part for me. So, you know, so prior, I'd always been a product guy. I'd always used products and supplements because I know that they have a place. I always knew that, and I believed in that, no matter what I was doing. So I was figuring all this out, and then you know, along comes Isagenix through my wife, a lovely crazy wife. I like how Erik said lovely first before crazy, and I have one of those too. And she told me the exact same thing your wife told you, Erik. Hey, we're doing this, and I didn't have a choice. I didn't have no say in it. It was just, hey, here's 2 boxes that rocked up at the door, you know, and I'm going to support my wife no matter what. I just do as I'm told, really. And it was about supporting her initially, because she'd had our children, and you know, and had tried lots of different programs, diets, meal plans, you name it. And some of them worked, but some of them were just, well, most of them were just really not a lifestyle change. They weren't sustainable. They were, you know, they were too calories restrictive. You know, they just cut everything out. And Sam would have great results, but just couldn't maintain those results. And so I jumped on these products with her. And much like Wally said, you know, you just put the products in your body, and then I felt like within week 2, you know, all these cool things start to happen. You know, so even though I kept working out after sport, and I tried to do my own nutrition plan, I never really had amazing results for the time and effort that I was putting into the gym and money I was spending on supplements. I never had that lean look. And you know, and one of the things I never really always struggled with was just that energy. You know, energy just eluded me. I was just wrecked most of the time. You know, some days I'll drive into the gym, into the car park, and I'll just reverse and just leave because I just don't have the energy. I just don't want it. I don't feel like training, so I wouldn't. So I just never had the results that I wanted. And along comes Isagenix. I start putting these products into my body. I get to like day 11. I think I'd already done 2 double cleanses. And yeah, it was just like, wow, just things had changed. You know, the sleep. I woke up one morning and just went, wow, that was like the best sleep I've had in a long time. And I'll get through the day in my corporate life, you know, at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, still feeling as good as I felt at, you know, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. So those things were just, just light bulbs for me, just like, wow, this is good nutrition. This is actually what good nutrition feels like when you get it right. And it really was. It was just that, it was the perfect storm. You know, Isagenix had thought of everything. They took all the guesswork away. That, you know, took all the guesswork out for you, Erik. It was easy, right? It was easy. You just make it, and it tastes good. The guys talked about how the products taste, and they taste amazing. And I'm a product guy, and I'd used products for years and years and years, and just some of them were just horrible. It was just, you know, just terrible experiences with them. And but this was it. This was like the trifecta of everything. And so that was the product. So I had, in my first 30 days, I had released all around that little sticky midsection there. We all know about that visceral fat. And I was about, I'm 6'1", so I started at about 104 kilos, maybe about 220 pounds. And I got down to 96 kilos, which is probably about 216 pounds. I'm just taking a stab at pounds to kilos. And, you know, and felt amazing, you know, just felt great. So the roll-on effect for me in terms of physicality was that I increased training. I got stuck in, and I found new different training styles to be a part of. I jumped into CrossFit. I jumped into F45, which I think is new over there in the US. I tried lots of different things, stand-up paddleboarding. I just threw myself into lots of cool things that I probably never would have tried because I just didn't have the energy, just didn't feel like I could do that. So this was me in my late 30s, just in loving and enjoying that physicality. And another flow-on for this really was that, you know, as the guys have said, you know, Erik and Wally, they talked about how easy it is to just really share these products with other people because the results are obvious. You know, the energy is different. You know, everything just changes. And, you know, people were asking Sam and I, well, what have you guys been doing? It was so easy just to share with them without any pressure, you know, without any obligation, just to say, look, this is what we've been using and it's amazing. And in the process of doing that, you know, like I said before, we were a single income family, and it was just that little bit of extra at the end of the month that just made all the difference for us when it comes to just paying some bills. And, you know, we got so excited about that, and we saw our friends start to, you know, share it with their friends and put a little bit of money back into their pockets. And that's really all it was initially, was just to say, hey, look, you know, get a couple of friends on board with you and put some money back into your pocket. And that turned into, I guess, you know, 7 years later, you know, Sam and I had built, you know, a beautiful organization that's international. And I've been in Isogenics, I guess, full-time network marketer for the last 6 years, off the back of a lot of hard work, might I add, as Trisha mentioned. You know, there's anything worth having will come with some hard work, some grit, and some real gusto. So we worked really, really hard, and we still work hard today to build. But what we get to enjoy is just an absolute blessing. And so, you know, that's been, I guess, a huge change in our lifestyle. You know, so we've enjoyed the physical success with the product. 7 years on, like Wally said, you know, my health is just, you know, it's amazing. Like I trained so hard now. Like I wish I had these products when I was playing sport. You know, I'm just like, well, you know, life could have been, I don't know how performance, I know performance would have been better, but career-wise, who knows? But, you know, but to feel like this in my 40s is really just unheard of almost. You know, I train so hard now, I actually injure myself more now than I have before because I'm just going flat out. Like 8 weeks ago, I tore my pec off the bone, but here's another story to that. My recovery, because I'm just flogging that isogenesis, Erik, I'm just like giving it hell, like I'm double dosing on that. So my recovery from these major injuries, which would see people out for months and months and months and months on end, I'm recovering so quickly and positively too, like from a mental standpoint. You know, that's another part that we probably don't talk about enough, is just this mental well-being that comes into play, this mental clarity. And that's really what helps Sam and I in our business as well, and family, and everything else we do in our community, in our church life, and how we serve others. You know, Trisha said, if you're, you know, once you get yourself healthy, everything else just happens. It just flows on into everything else you do in your careers, your families, relationships, and in our business with Isogenics. So what I was going to share with you. Yeah. So, you know, we've been full-time in this, and we absolutely love it. We adore the people we've met, and I love these communities, these amazing groups that I get to be a part of, all the way from down here in Australia. And, you know, the impact that this has potentially for anybody is just huge. So whatever you want it to be for you, make it that. And, you know, if it grows, cool. And you know, if you're happy to just have it be just a few extra dollars on the side, that's cool too. But these products are world-class. You know, they're second to none. And all you have to do is just put them in your body, trust that system, and follow that. And a couple of favorite products of mine. I think I've used everything in Isogenics. When we come to celebration in the US, we always stock up on the products like sleep spray. We have to get sleep spray from the US. We don't have that here. So anything we can't get, we'll always stock up and bring back. And I think I've tried everything. Everything is my favorite product. But if I had to pick, I just picked two, because these are two that if all I could have was two products every day, I would have these. And yeah, Jackie, the E shots, right? E plus. And I like these because this is like a spark plug, right? You just unwrap it, throw it down, and just like a spark plug of energy. And it's such a clean, like just a real sustained burst of energy that just, yeah, you just sort of open, it just opens everything up. And you just, for me, it's like having Ionics as well. It's very, to me, it has the same similar effect as Ionics, but I use it for everything. Before a meeting, before a three-way call, before I jump on a team call, Zoom, or again in my training, if no matter what I'm doing in training, I'll always have an e-shot beforehand. Wally, Isoline Pro for me, buddy, it's my go-to on the daily. It is just well thought of. They just thought of everything when they designed the Isoline shake and the Isoline Pro shake. Again, no guesswork. It does all the heavy lifting for you, and it's just a no-brainer. Like, I don't even have to think about it. And that taste wins every time. I throw extra stuff in there too. I throw some fruit in there, bananas, peanut butter, you name it. I'll throw stuff in there and I'll remix that bad boy. But those are my two absolute go-tos, and I haven't not had Isogenics in my body for the last almost 7 years, and that's so I feel for you, Wally, for that 1 month that you had to go without it. Yeah, I would have been, that would have been tough. So but so that's a little bit about me. Just to carry on a little bit with regards to the athletic and the performance side with Isogenics, we have an amazing community within Isogenics called Team Isogenics, which is really geared towards our athletes, our elite athletes, current and past, who are still involved, very heavily in the sporting world and the training world, the fitness arena. And look, guys, this is a great way if you know people in your networks who are in this category where they might be a personal trainer, they might be elite competitors at what they do. This is a great opportunity for them to really like develop their profile as well, their brand, and align with like a product line that is just, it really, really is like when it comes to world class, that's what it is. It has a stamp of world class. It also has the Informed Sports label on there, which has been tested for banned substances. So this can be used at the absolute elite level. So the Team Isogenics community is a great way to invite people to really, at that elite level, to take a look at, hey, look, there's a great community here that supports, the sports, your training, your business as well. Like a lot of personal trainers, a lot of competitive fitness trainers, they are PTs as well on the side, or they'd have other careers as well. But this is a great way for them to incorporate all in a wonderful business model and be endorsed and supported by the Isogenics community and these amazing AMP products as well. So Team Isogenics is just think of the people that in your networks and in your circles who might be a great fit and be an ambassador for the performance and athletic side of Isogenics. So so I hope, look, something's landed for you, that's on this call, who may have not tried the Isogenics products or maybe looked at the income opportunities. So but I'm sure there'll be an opportunity and space for lots of questions and so on. So I'll hand it back to you, Tricia, but thanks guys for tuning in.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I have a feeling that everybody's on the same page as me, where they don't want this call to end, because it's just so good to hear real stories. Everybody, I keep telling people, I think the rarest or the most precious commodity we have right now in the world is just wisdom, like other people that have been through things and have an experience and can help you, wherever you're at. And that's exactly what you three guys are doing tonight, is sharing that wisdom that came with a lot of, I'm sure, like wall kicking moments and sweat and tears. I mean, I can't even imagine having my pec tore off the bone that you just like so flippantly like threw out there. It was no big deal. But I'm glad that you're okay. I'm glad that you're okay. And, speaking as a 40-year-old woman, that doesn't leave this crowd. But, like it's the same thing. It's crazy. Like I'm PRing at the gym. I'm at 40 years old, you know, like I'm doing more than I ever did playing sports in high school and doing the things that I did through college, right? Like it's just amazing. And it's all because of nutrition. So if anyone here is struggling and needs some help, like I said in the chat, make sure you guys reach out. Like, you know, we can't experience that wisdom unless we're reaching out, you know, and that's the whole point of this community. So, you know, Erik and Wally and Carl, thank you so much for being a part of this community, because it's people like you that keep us going and keep us feeling inspired and that give others hope, and also just share, you know, the tips and tricks of the deal, right? Which is get started, make a choice, trust the process, and put the products in your body. Guys, how many of you heard tonight the importance of cleansing and ionics? How many of you? Right? Are you doing those things? If you want to pick me up, if you want to reset, if you want to get started wherever you're at, pick up the bottle, like start your ionics, right? Use the e-shots, use the shakes, like use these products, flood your body with good nutrition. And just like every other area of life, I promise I'm closing here, but just like every area of your life, if there's any kind of darkness, if there's any kind of stress, if there's any kind of heartache, or if there's any kind of exhaustion, fatigue, pain physically, you know, all we can do sometimes to control, we can't control everything. What we can do is start adding in good things. We can add positive people into our life. We can be a part of great communities. We can start putting good nutrition, good drinks, good things into our bodies. And it literally like eliminates darkness. It pushes out the bad because there's no room for it anymore. Right? So start there, guys. All right. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Hope you join us next week. You guys have been a blessing in my life. I needed this tonight, and I can't wait to hear your guys' comments. If you want to get started, if you haven't started, please reach out to the person that invited you. And if you're struggling in any area of this journey, make sure that you reach out to this community, because we're here to help you guys. We love you all. Stay safe, stay blessed, and we'll see you next week.
I gotta say